a.m. Tigers an 8.5-point favorite. College football news, Alabama showdown with Indiana in the Rose Bowl was the most watched college football playoff game of the 12-team era as 23.9 million watched the New Year's Day game. Alabama has landed a commitment from NC State running back Hollywood Smothers. Smothers rushed for over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns for the Wolfpack in 2025. Former Auburn wide receiver Perry Thompson is committed to Minnesota. Thompson will have 2 years of eligibility remaining for the Golden Gophers. Former Auburn quarterback Ashton Daniels is expected to transfer to Florida State for his final season. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you. I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on.
That's my dog.
Now live, here he is, the big dog,
Let's go, baby.
Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like El McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond?
Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
And good morning, everyone, and welcome to a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am your host, Thom Abraham, from Baumhowers Victory Grill on the South Parkway in Huntsville is where we come to. This is the calm before the storm right here, right now. I mean, I love this. So this is outstanding. Doors will open at 11 o'clock here at Baumhowers, so you have plenty of time now to make your decision as to where you want to go for lunch today. It's one of the benefits of having the show now 10 to noon as opposed to noon to 2. Noon to 2, you're already at lunch. You already know where you're going, all right? 10 to 2, you might be sitting there starting to think about it a little bit right now. Say, hey, where were you? Hey, I know. Let's go to Baumhowers, all right? So you can come over here to Baumhowers where, by the way, they're celebrating 45 years now. It was in 1981 when Bob Baumhauer first introduced the Buffalo Wing to the state of Alabama, and now they celebrate 45 legendary years. Soon they will have 11 locations across the state of Alabama, still serving up the same commitment to legendary fun, legendary food, and sincere hospitality for all the guests at Baumhowers. And Baumhowers is reintroducing the already famous hot chicken platter, which is served with smoked Gouda cheese grits, Miss Mary's greens, and smothered with their signature Alabama hot chicken sauce. So check that out at Baumhowers. They have their Inflation Bites menu. They got the party-ready trays as well for you. So all of those things are good at Baumhowers. Now, my top 10 today is the top 5 reasons. What do you mean? Doesn't have to have 10 things. They could have 5 things. It's still a Tuesday top 10. I just like saying that. Today I've got the top 5 reasons why I like the 10 to noon slot better than the noon to 2 slot. And yes, for those of you that were panicking yesterday, hitting the text window at 12:05, looking for the show, no, I did not get blown out. Or in this case, I did not blow myself out. We rearranged some things, and it made the most sense for me to return to my old time slot, which was 10 to noon. All right? Still got the same goofy stuff that I do. Got a few new twists coming, but we're in a new old time slot. And I'll tell you one of the things that's not on the list. We'll say there's 6 things on the top 10 things that I love about the 10 to noon time slot. One is I get a great parking spot here at Baumhowers at 9:45 in the morning when I got here. I mean, that's what's really cool because they're not open yet. And they'll be opening up there soon. Chairs are still on the table. I wonder if they're going to expect me to help put the chairs down. I don't know. I mean, it's possible, but I'm not 100% sure about that. Your phone lines are open. Feel free to jump in and contribute at 256-5764-977. It's 256-5764-977. That number is good wherever and however you consume the show. We got a text window for you as well. We're reading and react to those on the air at 7329 TA show. That's 982-7469. That will get you into the show. Now, we were having a little bit of an issue with video from here. We'll have that up for you here in the very near future. We will get that going for you, and you'll be able to kind of see my smiling face here at Baumhowers as well. Now, coming up on the show today at the bottom of the hour, Kennington, Lloyd Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa will join us. He's back with his thoughts on where Alabama football goes from here. They've had some guys leaving the portal. They've picked up a couple of guys in the portal, so we'll talk about that with him. Plus, we'll get a thought on Tide basketball after they eviscerated Kentucky in the SEC opener on Saturday. We'll take a peek ahead to tomorrow night's game at number 11 Vandy. The Doors are the highest-ranked SEC team right now. And Kentucky, my goodness. I mean, Kentucky's 9-5 overall. They're unranked in the early season. Kentucky is the basketball equivalent of Alabama in football, right? I mean, how far are they going to let that program fall? Mark Pope, the head coach there, he won a couple of SEC titles and he won a natty as a player for Rick Pitino at Kentucky. I get that. But as a coach, I mean, not bad, but not great at BYU. He never won a conference championship there at BYU. He made the big dance twice in 5 years, and they were one and done in both times. How long does Mark Pope last at Kentucky? They're sitting there, week to week. Fans are getting ready to blow out Kalen DeBoer in Alabama. They're like, what are we going to what about Mark Pope at Kentucky? What about that scenario? And it's not like John Calipari was Nick Saban. I mean, Calipari's an excellent coach, there's no doubt. He's got pelts. But he's not Nick Saban. Okay? So you wonder about that. And speaking of falling like a stone, how about Auburn? They've lost 3 of their last 5 games, even though they lost that opener, that SEC opener against Georgia. It was a scintillating comeback. They get the tip in at the buzzer, and then they go into overtime and lose that game there at Georgia. They got shellacked by Purdue and Michigan along the way in their non-conference play. I mean, the Tigers got some work to do, starting with tonight with Texas A&M. They got a little bit of work to do. Coming up in hour number 2, Teresa Walker of the AP in Nashville will join us. It looks like Cam Ward's injury is not too bad, and he says that his offseason program will not be affected. He does not need surgery or anything like that, so he's feeling pretty good about that. Now, the Giants, the Falcons, and the Titans are said to be interviewing Kevin Stefanski. Look, Kevin Stefanski goes to Atlanta, and he wins the NFC South next year. Kevin Stefanski goes there to Atlanta, and he wins 11 or 12 games next year. The Giants and the Titans, they need some time. They need a little bit of time. Dan Orlovsky, by the way, said this. Oh, he said what I just said. He said, Kevin Stefanski goes to Atlanta, wins 11 games with Kirk Cousins at quarterback, close quote. Remember, Stefanski was the offensive coordinator in Minnesota when Kirk Cousins had his best season ever, when he led the NFL in passing, was the starter in the Pro Bowl, and all of that stuff. I mean, that's the thing that makes the most sense. Now, the Titans are also interviewing Raheem Morris, but come on. This smacks of a Rooney Rule interview, no? I mean, Morris is a nice defensive coordinator, but he's not a head coach in this league. He's just not. Now, by the way, the Titans finished in a 4-way tie for the worst record in the league this year at 3-14. So why do they have the number 4 pick? Well, because they break the tie for the draft based on strength of schedule, from easiest to hardest. And the Titans had the hardest schedule amongst the 3-14 teams. So the idea is, well, if you went 3-14 against these people, you're a better team than the Raiders who went 3-14 against those people. Okay? So that's kind of the way that it's Raiders, Jets, Cardinals in order, and then Titans. Now, all 3 of those teams I just mentioned, the first 3 before the Titans, Raiders, Jets, Cardinals, all 3 of those teams need quarterbacks. But are there 3 quarterbacks deserving of 1, 2, 3 in this draft? No, there's not. Fernando Mendoza and Dante Moore, sure. But the next best guy is not worthy of the number 3 overall pick, whoever that is. Right now, on most draft boards, Ty Simpson is QB3 in this draft, but not many have him with a first-round grade now. It's just the way it is. As of right now, too, he's not sure he's coming out. Some think he needs another season of experience. I'm not sure he would get that in Tuscaloosa. Because those other 2 dudes, Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, they're pretty much ready to go. And they're pretty dynamic. Now, other guys that will be in this draft, guys that will be drafted later on in the draft, guys like Garrett Nussmeier or Drew Allar or Carson Beck, who has put himself back in the mix. I mean, they're draftable guys, but they're not lead pipe locks. All right? They're a little bit of projects. They're guys that, who knows? I mean, you don't know. You don't know who Brock Purdy is. You don't know where some guy is that's going to be drafted in the 2nd or 3rd round. It's going to end up being a stud. Jalen Hurts was a 2nd rounder, top of the 2nd round. Nobody really thought that Jalen Hurts would be a Super Bowl MVP and a starting quarterback that's been so good in the league. Certainly no one thought he'd be better than Tua Tagovailoa. And Tua's had better numbers overall, but Tua's career in the NFL has been up and down like crazy. He's looking for a fresh start. Now, 2027, the 2027 class will have Arch Manning and Julian Sayin and Lenora Sellers, who decided to stay at South Carolina this year, and some other pretty solid names. The 2027 draft class, honestly, is better than 2026. So Ty Simpson may want to get out now because he's not going to be drafted in front of Arch Manning and Julian Sayin either. He might want to make that move now. All right, back at Mission Control. Playing the play doesn't matter, the stacks of wax, answering the phones, keeping us on the air. It's the Prodigy, the Grasshopper, young John Michael.
I'm the producer of this show. If I didn't step up, you're nowhere. I put this thing together out of spit and polish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
I have a sentimental weakness for my children, and I spoil them, as you can see. They talk when they should listen.
Give me back my son!
I don't like violence, Thom. I'm a businessman.
I'm telling you, there's an embarrassing press conference in that kid's future.
If you ain't first, you're last. He's got Abraham down.
What a catch!
What a catch! A leaping catch at the 45-yard lines, and he brings it in. What we eating today?
Hey, man, I'll tell you what, nothing right now. I mean, they don't have brunch here. They don't have breakfast here, but they will have the kitchen open here pretty soon. But I will say this, John, as I do join the broadcast through the video feed, so you can have Hollywood Hogan there. Take a look at that here just momentarily. I'm on stage. It says I'm on stage right now. So, you guys can get that going. So that's good stuff. But yeah, some difficult. Oh, wait a minute! I got to hit this mute button.
You got to mute it.
I got to hit this here mute button. You're hearing it. Is boom. There you go. I did that too.
Beautiful.
All right, so now it's muted, and we got all of that. It was weird, John. It was. I got in, and I immediately the first thing I always do is connect with the interweb, and I couldn't get online. I couldn't get online with the computer. I mean, the Comrex and all that stuff was online, so I was connected to you guys. But it was a little bit of a panic, my friend. A little bit of a panic.
No, well, it happens. I mean, it's weird because even yesterday with Talking Ball, they were out at Bill Penny Toyota. Even they were having some problems, and even my home Wi-Fi that never seems to act up was acting up. So I don't know. Maybe something's in the air right now. Maybe it's this 2026 thing. I know that people are going to freak out like the Y2K come. I think it was like 2030. But there's some stuff going on.
Y2K 20. What do you mean 2030?
Oh, I don't know exactly.
The year you were born. Y2K was 2000. Everybody thought that the world was going to end.
I know
in 2000.
It's going to happen again. A little panic that goes on because of some electric devices and the calendars saying it can't go past
sunspots and things in the numbers, and everybody thought that the calendar. Everybody thought everything was going to revert at Y2K. They all thought everything was going to revert to 1901.
Yep.
And it was going to be a nightmare. Nothing happened.
Why was that such a fear, though? Obviously, I think it was mainly the technology disappearing, stopping.
Well, that's what people thought. They thought when it went from 1999 that when it turned over to 2000 and it became 0-1, that it wasn't going to that technology wasn't going to recognize the two. They spent tens of millions of dollars to make sure that the stoplights all didn't stop happening and the bombs didn't get launched and missiles and everything. I mean, they didn't know what was going to happen.
Yeah,
the Y2K panic was a real thing, and we all sat there watching. We watched the ball drop, for 2000, and then nothing happened. It was like, all right, I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, it's a little
I
unfortunate.
think we're good. Nothing happened. But at the beginning of every year, we have screwy stuff that happened. I try to call my father, and he's like, and they live in a remote horse farm in North Fort Myers, and he's like, I can't talk because the Wi-Fi is going out and the internet keeps going crazy. He has a dish. He has the Dish Network thing, and he's like, the dish keeps going out, and ever since the midnight on the 1st, and we couldn't talk and everything else. So stuff it seems like every year. And the other thing that happens is that the insurance, so you don't have to worry about this because you don't have a ton of medications like I got, but the insurance resets. And if you had discount cards for particular prescriptions, or if you had some sort of, depending on how big your deductible is in this wacky, Obamacare world that we live in, everything resets. So I take like 6 or 8 or 10 medications, between the heart and the diabetes and everything else. I'm taking all these different medications. So I get a notice from the Walmart, and it says that you're, I forget which medication it is. It's I can't think of the name of it right now. Anyway, they say that your medication is ready to be picked up at Walmart, $1,475. Ooh, for a 1 month supply.
Golly.
I'm like, I call them up and I'm like, yeah, you know what? $1,475 doesn't work for me.
Yeah.
I mean, if you added that up with all the meds I take, it would be like $10,000 a month in med fees. So then you get these cards from the manufacturer for the particular medication. You get the card, and then with the card, they all of a sudden it says $10, $15. It's like, okay, it's $1,450 a month or $30 for a 3-month supply.
Well, yeah, you got to.
I'll take the $30.
You got to break the bad news before you break the true news. Like for me, it's like, hey, I might have crashed the car. Oh, yeah, and then you just like back it up with, oh, but I also got you this from the store, and it's maybe like some pecans or whatever.
Wait, did you crash the car?
No, I didn't crash the car. It was just me, going on a little tangent. And I will say this: with you doing brunch from Baumhowers, a little bit of an echo just from the surrounding area. So going to be interesting to see how that kind of dissipates as the people start filling in throughout it.
And they'll be like flooding in here. I mean, I can't wait to see what it's like when the people come flooding in here. By the way, I have a select number of T-shirts, Owen Home Appliance 5-point bonus T-shirts for the Owen Home Appliance trifecta. I don't even know what sizes they are, and I don't have my sidekick with me here. The Junkyard Babe didn't, she's like, yeah, I'm not going up there. So I am here by my lonesome, but I do have a select number of T-shirts with me for if you haven't gotten your 5 bonus points, you can come in here and get your 5 bonus points as well. So we've got that for you too. Did you take any time at all to watch the FCS National Championship game from Vanderbilt last night?
Not a second.
I'll tell you what. You got to watch the highlight package. It was spectacular. Now, I only watched a little more than a second, but it was absolutely spectacular. By the way, the Cowboys just fired their defensive coordinator, Matt Eberflus. So Matt Eberflus, who was the head coach at Chicago, and then after he got fired there, became the defensive coordinator for the Cowboys, has been fired. So it'll be interesting to see where the Cowboys go now, because there are some good guys out there that have been fired as head coaches that would make good defensive coordinators. So we'll see where they go with that. Yeah, nobody knows, like, where's Jim Schwartz going? Jim Schwartz has led a great defense in Cleveland for the last 3 years. And is he a candidate for that job as a head coach, or is he a free agent right now? Because somebody's going to get a great defensive coordinator in Jim Schwartz, who was a defensive coordinator for Jeff Fisher in Nashville for years and years. So, it'd be interesting to see. And I don't even know. Remember, he was the head coach of the Lions. Is he even getting an interview at the Titans? How cool would it be for Jim Schwartz to come back to the Titans. I mean, that wouldn't suck. Or if Kevin Stefanski did take the Titans job, does he bring Jim Schwartz with him as the DC? I mean, that's an interesting thing as well. That game last night, though, there had 24,000 people there at the 40,000-seat Vanderbilt Stadium. It was Montana State and Illinois State, and Montana State finally wins the national championship. They have been in like 3 of the Nash 5 or something like that, national championship games. They beat Illinois State 35-34 in overtime. Illinois State scored first. And first of all, Montana State had been up 2 touchdowns most of the game. Illinois State comes back, ties the game. Some great play by those guys in the FCS national championship game. They tie it at 28. Illinois State gets the ball first. They score. Now, John, in college football, they're still kicking extra points, from the 2-yard line, right? Yeah. So the kid, they botch the snap. The holder gets the ball up on the tee, or not on the tee, but on the, gets the ball held, and it gets blocked because the kicker kicks like a low line drive, and it gets blocked. So they can't execute the extra point. And now it's 34-28. And then Montana State scores on this incredible touchdown. And when they score on this incredible touchdown, they make their extra point, win the national championship 35-34. And they hadn't won a natty, I think, since 1984. So good job there. And I'll explain a little bit about how that playoff works, because a lot of people are saying, why can't we have that in FBS? Why did the national championship just get played last night in FCS? Why do they get to finish their season basically what is the end of New Year's weekend, right? Do we consider Monday night the end of New Year's? The New Year's Day was Thursday, right? So New Year's Day weekend was this past weekend, last weekend of the NFL regular season, and then it's Monday and it ends. Why can't FBS figure this out? And then the transfer portal could open up. I mean, if they could do it at FCS, those kids actually go to school. Don't tell me about the school year and you got to have this and that. Don't tell me about any of that. That's ridiculous. These kids actually are in school. They go to class and stuff. They actually know their way across the campus.
It's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for them.
Exactly. I'm saying. All right. Phone lines are open if you want to jump in. 256-576-4977 will get you into the show. I got a number of things to get to on the show, including my top 10 and top 5 reasons why I like the 10 to 2 or 10 to noon time slot better than the noon to 2 time slot. So we'll get into that as well, and a number of other things. We're going to slip out, get a break, and when we come back, Kennington, Lloyd, Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa will join us next, right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best, and this machine has it all. With features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining peak performance. Always has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
AL cert number 21014.
As we flip the calendar to 2026, The holiday season may have left you a little short in the bank account, but Talon Heating and Air will not leave you out in the cold.
That's right. We're still offering free second opinions and service calls with repairs. In addition to that, we're offering up to $1,600 in TVA rebates.
Very easy to do. If you need that $1,600 rebate, all you got to do is
give us a call at 256-503-4490.
Talon Heating and Air. They're live, they're local, and you can find them online at
TalentHVAC.com.
Who doesn't need to save
$1,600?
Very easy to do. Again, Talent Heating and Air, the number and the web.
That's 256-503-4490 or TalentHVAC.com.
It's Talent Heating and Air. They're live, they're local. Give them a call today.
Hi, this is Wes Neighbors. I'm here with Sam Fleming with Fleming Roofing and Restoration. Sam, tell the folks about Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Hey, Wes. Our company, Fleming Roofing and Restoration, specializes in commercial and residential roofing and repairs. I'm a fifth-generation Huntsvillian, and our family's been doing construction business in Huntsville area since 1965.
Sam, what kind of roofs does Fleming Roofing and Restoration do?
Our guys are skilled enough. We can come out and address any kind of leaks or issues you might have on your commercial, on your metal roofing, on your shingles. We can do anything, and we can offer you a solution to repair it, or we can replace it.
You guys also do insurance restoration.
Our staff has 10 plus years of experience as insurance adjusters, and we really do know the inside and out of the claims process at Fleming Roofing and Restoration.
Check out Fleming Roofing and Restoration online at FlemingHSV.com, or you can call or text them at 256-651-9440.
Hey, Wes, we show up.
At Stella at 5 Points, living isn't just about having an apartment, it's about living artfully. Imagine waking up with the upscale feel of Atlanta or Nashville right here in the heart of Huntsville. Modern, stylish apartments, open layouts, stainless steel appliances, and resort-inspired amenities. Nestled in vibrant 5 Points, you'll enjoy walkability, parks, dining, and quick access to downtown without the chaos. Stella at 5 Points. Live artfully. Live Stella. You've been paying on that life insurance policy for years, but maybe you don't really need it anymore, or it's gotten a bit too expensive. Well, before you just let it expire, let Neighbors Insurance Solutions share with you some alternatives that you haven't considered. Don't throw away something that still may have great value for you. If you want to learn more about what Neighbors Insurance Solutions can do for you, call 256-763-7693. A death benefit could be a life benefit. Learn more at 256-763-7693.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by the Orthopedic Center, longtime friends of the show. To be honest with you, it's been about 20 years that we have been hooked up with TOC, and they just do such a great job. They service the Huntsville Havoc, Alabama A&M, most of the high schools in the region. They got 13 locations all throughout the Tennessee Valley. So if you have an orthopedic problem, if you're considering professional care, really, TOC, it's the only logical choice. You need to contact TOC. Make your appointment. When you need them, they're there. Always in the Tennessee Valley, TOC. And welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. Calm before the storm. Baumhowers, South Memorial Parkway. I wonder what time this is so fascinating. I mean, everybody's starting to work and they're setting up stuff and stations, and all the chairs are still on the tables. And we're a half hour from doors opening and a flood of people coming in. And I wonder when they start taking the chairs down and stuff. And I wonder if they're going to ask me to help. That's what I'm wondering. All right, lots to get to here today on the show. And we're going to get things started with our boy Kennington, Lloyd Smith of the AP in Tuscaloosa. What I love about Kenny is I can talk about football, basketball. I could talk Alabama. I could talk the entire SEC. I could talk Big Ten. This is a very well-versed guy, and that's what I love about having Kennington Lloyd Smith in the rotation on the show, and he joins us now on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. Kenny, welcome back to the show, man. How are you?
Yeah, doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Sounds like you're on the road. Are you on the road right now?
I am on the road right now. I'm on my way to Birmingham. So as you know, and a lot of people who know me personally know, I DJ. and I have to go to the Apple store in Birmingham to get my laptop repaired so I can keep making these fixes and collecting these checks. So pray for me that I don't need a new laptop, but for the here and now, I'm ready to talk about whatever you got.
So that's you can't get the laptop fixed in Tuscaloosa, huh? You got to go to the big city to get the laptop fixed.
Right, yeah, got to go to the Bright Lights of Birmingham, and like with Apple, like for them to do something like real to your device, it has to be like in an Apple store.
Yeah,
like, you could take it to like a repair shop, but they're gonna say, hey, look, we don't have the same tools, we can't really work on it the same way, so I got to get it direct to the store.
That same thing happens to me. I live in Winchester, which is about the same distance from Tuscaloosa to Birmingham, Winchester to Huntsville. So every time I need anything done, like at the Apple store or at the Xfinity store or anything like that, I got to go to the big city. I got to go to Mount Pilot. That's an old Andy Griffith joke. I got to go to Mount Pilot. I got to go to the big city to get anything done. Speaking of getting things done, before we get into some things with Alabama, the FCS National Championship last night, right? And they had their playoffs all throughout the month of December. Why can't FBS do this? I mean, if we're going ahead with this whole scenario of playoffs and it's going to continue to get expanded and the bowl games are getting kind of neutered more and more, why don't we just rip the Band-Aid off? Why can't we get the FBS championship game on Monday, January 5th, and get it done before the NFL playoffs start, and then before then they could open up the transfer portal after that, and they could even do the high school recruiting after that, and have the signing day the Wednesday after the national title game or something like that. Why can't they do this with the FBS calendar? Why are we stretching this out all the way to whatever it is, January 19th?
Yeah, that would make too much sense. I guess that would be my response. I don't understand what the issue is. I guess like it all just kind of comes down to money. Maybe I'm not well versed enough to understand why they can't just do away with a lot of these things. Maybe because these huge corporations have a lot of money tied into these bowl games and the New Year's Six games and all these other things that they feel like people need, but we really don't need it at the end of the day. And it's like, I understand a lot of the times that these bowl games are great rewards, and some programs, you mentioned the Big Ten in my lead up, like a program like Iowa who never has opt-outs ever, and they go and play these bowl games, and it's like a great thing for them. But for the most part, a lot of these teams aren't interested in playing in them. A lot of fans aren't interested in going to them. I haven't really seen a packed-out bowl game couple years since the 12-team playoff, like these kind of like lower-tier bowl games. Fans aren't interested in traveling and spending money to watch their favorite team without their best players play. So I would be in favor of condensing the calendar, sifting through the playoffs quickly, getting these things done. Because another part about it is, like, once you get to January 19th, like, how many people are really tapped into the national championship at that point? Like,
yeah.
I would remember the national championship last year. It was like January 20, whatever it was. And it was like, wow, college football season is still going. It felt like Georgia playing in the Sugar Bowl was like 3 years ago at that point. And all these things that happened in the transfer portal, it's like you kind of forget all the things that kind of lead up to it. And it really loses a lot of the juice when it's not fresh. And then it's like we're playing these Final Four games, on like next Thursday, Wednesday. It's like I don't even know what day the games are on.
Yeah.
It's just unorganized.
Yeah, and we've bastardized the whole thing. I mean, the Fiesta Bowl is Thursday night. I mean, can it really? I mean, the Peach Bowl is Friday night. This Friday night, you know what I mean? Whatever that date will be. I mean, it's like, January 9th, for the Peach Bowl. So we've already bastardized the whole thing. We could have the Fiesta Bowl and the Peach Bowl on December 23rd, and then rotate where the national championship game is, the Orange Bowl or the Sugar Bowl or, whichever Rose Bowl and things like that. It could be the 3rd or the 4th. So the whole concept of what a New Year's Day bowl game. We have a New Year's Day. We have 2 New Year's Day bowl games this week, a week after New Year's Day. So what are we talking about? So let's just rip the Band-Aid off and let's get this thing going and play these playoff games all through the month of December and not have these teams playing on 28 days rest and 31 days rest and 27 days rest. And we saw, 3 out of the 4 teams that were bye teams get whacked again in the quarterfinals, including Georgia in a ridiculous game with Ole Miss, the best game of the quarterfinals.
Yeah, and everybody likes to talk about the parallels between college and the NFL. It's like, oh, college and NFL are the same thing. Well, the NFL, there's no 30-day break. right? It's like regular season ended last Sunday. We're having playoff games on Saturday. And you don't understand, classes and all these other things, finals, graduations, NFL players don't have to deal with that. But it seems like every other model hasn't figured out except for Division I football at the highest level, which is a huge problem.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it. By the way, before we get into the transfer portal, just your thoughts going back to the Rose Bowl where, Indiana just humiliated Alabama playing Alabama football. I mean, they played Alabama 2010, 2012 football. I had Mike Johnson on yesterday, who was on the 2009 National Championship team, All-American, and he's like, my God, I was watching it, and that was us. They were playing us, and we were playing something else. To me, it almost feels like Pac-12 football, what I see out of Alabama. We knew it was going to catch up to them eventually, and lo and behold, it did. However, I do think that if Alabama converts on that very first drive, after smothering Indiana on their first drive, I think the game might look a little bit different. But, man, once Indiana got rolling, it seemed like Alabama was just heading for the buses.
Yeah, the most notable part of the game to me was in the first 90 seconds, 2 minutes of the third quarter, where Kirk Herbstreit kind of goes on this soliloquy where he accused Alabama of quitting in the game.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much people pay attention to the TV broadcast during the game. New Year's Day, people might have had the volume down, but it's 2 minutes into the third quarter, and Kirk Herbstreit is laying into Alabama and just said they quit. He was like, there's no fight, there's no effort, they don't want to be there. He's like, there's no fire. And that's just the most disappointing part. I think there's this misconception that Alabama fans can't handle a loss. Alabama fans can handle a loss, but they can't handle their team just giving it up like that. And I don't think any fan should. And that's what we saw on January 1st. Alabama just gave it up to Indiana. They were just, there was no fight, there was no will. I went to Georgia. I know people who despise Alabama and they hope they go over 12. Even they were like, this is just kind of sad.
Yeah.
To watch them just kind of lay down like that. So that's really my takeaway from the game is Alabama just gave it up. At least they scored. Thank God for that. So
and it's not like this is.
If you're looking for good, bad, and ugly, the good is Alabama didn't get shut out. But outside of that, I don't really have any other takeaways besides the fact they just laid down, which is it's just sad. It was just really sad to watch.
And it's not like this was some 7-5 Alabama team. What made it even worse, you don't have to say the word Alabama if you're a Georgia fan or Ole Miss fan or Tennessee fan or anybody else. This is the team that won the regular season in the SEC. This was a 7-1 SEC number one seed in the SEC championship game, getting humiliated, and that's the part that is that I guess is the most stunning.
Yeah, and it's again, it's from the Alabama fans' perspective, it's just kind of really, it's frustrating when all you hear about in the lead up and, especially after the Oklahoma game, it's just this team is full of fighters and we fight to the end and we never give up and et cetera, et cetera. And it's do you never fight to the end when it's against a team that you can beat? Oklahoma and Georgia and Tennessee, because that's not applicable to every situation, right? We've seen Alabama get boat raced, humiliated, blown out, however you want to say, a lot in Kalen DeBoer's tenure. And that same fight doesn't translate week to week. They can show fight against Georgia because they have confidence they could beat Georgia because they beat them a lot. They can do that against Oklahoma because they probably should have beat them the first time. They could do it against Tennessee because over the last 20 years they've owned Tennessee. But it's not like that week in and week out. And that's been my biggest gripe with the Kalen DeBoer era, and it still is going into the offseason. It's you don't know what Alabama team you're going to get week to week. There is no consistency with this program right now. The highs are as high as they could possibly be, but the lows are as low as they could possibly be as well. So Alabama doesn't have a defined floor under Kalen DeBoer in 2 years. And I think that's kind of where the program is at right now, where it's immense talent, you have good coaching, but there's just not a consistent product. And that's the part that's going to frustrate Alabama.
I think the term, the buzzword that coaches use a lot and that the media uses a lot is identity. And I just don't know what their identity is. They have no identity that they're going to come and beat you physically, and exactly what you knew what Indiana was going to do, and they did it anyway. That's the part that's humiliating. You knew what they were going to do, and they did it anyway, and did it with physical play. Kennington Lloyd Smith with us here. Talk a little bit of Alabama. He covers them for the AP down in Tuscaloosa. All right, so now we're into this transfer portal thing. And, Hollywood Smothers, running back from North Carolina State, over 1,000 yards last season. He's a 4-star transfer, and he is coming into Alabama. Did anybody tell him that Alabama only hands it off to a running back like 8 times a game? I mean, does this guy know what he's in? Or is this an indication that maybe between him and the Crowell kid that's coming in, the top running back in the freshman class, it feels like the talent in that running back room is going to be increased.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, this was a huge get, and Alabama has a lot of areas to address in the transfer portal, but there is no doubt. I feel like the first priority for Alabama in 2026 is fixing the run game, however that looks. And him going out and getting Hollywood Smothers was a big get because you probably follow Bama closer than I have. I've watched Bama from afar, obviously, but I can't remember the last time Alabama didn't have an NFL running back in their room for a whole season. God bless Jim Miller. He's a great kid, great interview, all those things. But Jim Miller didn't live up to what Alabama fans expected him to be this year. He had a lot of injuries. Daniel Hill is a good complementary player, but when he was at RB1, it wasn't great. And then behind him, there was just kind of a lot of freshmen and experience. It wasn't great from the running back room. So you go and get Hollywood Smothers, you get EJ Crowell. If anybody hasn't watched his highlights, I suggest you do. It is unbelievable what he did in high school this year. So you feel like you have an upgrade there. We'll see what happens along the offensive line, but the biggest priority for Alabama this upcoming year is fixing the run game. And going out and getting a proven guy like Hollywood Smothers, I think, is a good start.
A lot of people think that it would make sense for Ty Simpson to return, that he needs another year of seasoning to have 2 years as a starter before he goes into the draft. My sense is that I'm not 100% sure that this makes a lot of sense for Ty Simpson, because I look at, when I look at Austin Mack and Keelan Russell, those dudes are ready. I mean, they're ready to play. I'm not sure that Ty Simpson is the starter next year automatically if he were to come back. And I also look at next year's draft, which will have Arch Manning, Julian Sayin, Lenore Sellers, those guys in that draft. I'm not sure that he's not smarter just to get out of there right now. Most people think he's QB3 in this draft behind Fernando Mendoza, who came out of nowhere, and Dante Moore. They're the only 2 quarterbacks right now that are holding a first-round grade. And so I think Ty Simpson would have a better opportunity now. But what are you hearing, as Ty Simpson says that, he's not sure yet, he hasn't made a decision yet as to whether he's going to return or not?
Yeah, I think it is, kind of what you're saying. And it's like, he's quarterback 3, but he really could be quarterback 2 because there's really no guarantee that Dante Moore is going to go to the NFL either. So that's kind of like the thing that's in limbo. I'm going to zag on this a little bit for a different reason with Ty Simpson. The way that NIL has worked now, it's almost kind of created this world where if you're not a surefire first-round pick, you're going to make more money by coming back to college. Like, Brendan Thorsby is going to make $5 million at Texas Tech next year. That's what's being reported. And maybe that's Texas Tech overpaying, but if Brendan Thorsby can get $5 million and Carson Beck could get $5 million, Ty Simpson, the market says that he's a $5 million quarterback, maybe not at Alabama.
Yeah.
Maximizing your earning potential probably would make more sense coming back because he's not a surefire first-round pick. But I do think that he is probably as highly rated of a quarterback now as he's going to be. Because to your point, Arch Manning, it looks like he's kind of figured it out. Lenore Sellers is going to be a high pick because of the trade. You have Julian Sayin, you have Brendan Thorsby, you have Trinidad Chambliss potentially coming back next year as well. So a lot more quarterback competition. But I do think his earning potential is going to be higher coming back to college because I don't know if he's going to sign a $5 million contract in the NFL off the bat if he's not a first-round pick. So you can kind of look at it from both ways. I do think he's more so leaning towards the draft just because he has the potential to be highly rated. But it is an interesting decision. And what you said about Austin Mack and Keelan Russell is 100% right. If there was an underrated bright spot to this offense, it's that whenever those two went into the game, it looked good. Now, the competition wasn't great a lot of the times, but when those guys came in, it looked like they knew what they were doing. They operated the offense well. They pretty much led scoring drives every time they were in the game. And Austin Mack led the only scoring drive for Alabama against Indiana. Granted, it was 24-0. Indiana probably wasn't even trying as hard as they were in the first half, but at least Austin Mack came in and let it drive and it was functional. So you have confidence that even if Ty Simpson were to move on, you have the guy in the quarterback, whether it is Mack or Russ.
Yeah, and I do an Alabama pregame show with Jake Coker, and he said that Ty Simpson's been hurt. I mean, do you think Ty Simpson played the last 3-4 games of the season injured more than what we know?
I mean, yeah, probably, but who did it?
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, I mean, this is the SEC. It's college football, right? Like the availability report is different than the injury report, right? Like, I'm sure there were so many players on Alabama's team that were injured, just like all these other teams, but they were playing through it. That's just kind of how football is. You hear it all the time in the NFL. You hear it throughout college. The healthiest that you're going to be is in week 1 because you haven't played any games yet. And after that, it's just kind of like, how do you maintain your body all the way through? Now, does that mean that Ty Simpson was, completely unaffected by these injuries? No, I'm sure he was. But this is not unique to anybody else in college football who are dealing with a lot of things. So, credit to him for battling through it. He literally played until he could not play anymore. He broke his rib against the Indians. He couldn't play anymore. So there's no questioning Ty Simpson's toughness. I'm sure that the injuries were affecting him, but this is not a unique situation at the same time. So I do want to give him grace for that, but also I do want to, there's a caveat in there that, there were other players playing hurt as well. If you look at what Kalen DeBoer said after the Georgia game, he kind of alluded to that. He's like, there's so many guys dealing with so many things that people don't know about, and we just need to get healthy. This is kind of what it is to play, in the SEC and play in the Big Ten, to play high-level football. So it just kind of it is what it is situation. I hope Ty Simpson recovers quickly.
Kennington Lloyd Smith with us. All right, before I let you go, let's just hit a basketball deal since the SEC schedule has started and Alabama kicked it off with a bang, just eviscerating Kentucky. I think 5th straight win over the Wildcats. Kalen DeBoer wonders how long they're going to go with Mark Pope in Kentucky because, I mean, it's kind of those guys are in a kind of a similar situation here in Kentucky, just 9-5 out of the top 25. I mean, they got to be losing, the fans up there got to be losing their mind there as well. But now Bama gets Vanderbilt at Vanderbilt in that goofy arena there. That's a weird place to play. I've covered many games there in Nashville back in the day. And talk a little bit about that as the Tide head to Vandy and look to reestablish themselves as maybe the top dog in the SEC.
Yeah, I think for Alabama, it's just you really liked what you saw in that Kentucky game. I think the question for Alabama is just like, is this team ever going to get to a point where everybody can be healthy at the same time and clicking on all cylinders? I think I said this last week or the week before that I was on, is there's no questioning that Alabama has a team that can make a run in March. How healthy can they be? And it will be such a shame if we get to the end of the season, it's like, man, this team could just never get all the pieces together at the same time. And that's kind of what I was thinking when I was watching the Kentucky game, right? Like, LeBaron Fallon comes back from an injury, and, he's kind of like a slow starter, but then he kind of picks it up. But the rest of the team is just, like, playing awesome. And Noah Williamson was like a revelation in the second half, right? Like, Aiden Sherrill gets hurt, and then he steps in, and it's like, okay, Noah Williamson hasn't been great to start the season. He comes in, he plays great in the second half. So I like where this team is at. And I'm not questioning if they can make it far. It's just a matter of, can they get healthy enough to do it? So I'm expecting a good game tonight at Vanderbilt. I think Bama's going to win this game. The way that they're playing offense right now is just historic. They're on a historic pace. If you're into like the Ken Palm analytics, they have like the 4th highest rated offensive efficiency or whatever the metric is like of all time right now. They're just playing scorching basketball on offense. Their defense is improving. Like the last couple of games, like they have done pretty well defensively. So I like where this team is at. It's just, can everybody get healthy at the same time and be healthy for long enough to really see this team's full potential? Because if they're playing like this, when guys are in and out of the lineup and guys are missing games and guys are limited, imagine what the team could be if everybody could be healthy at the same time.
As always, tremendous stuff from Kennington, Lloyd, Smith. And one of my goals for the first quarter of the new year, now that we're up in our digital game, is to get Kenny on the video side as well. Now he's driving down the street, so we weren't going to have that. But, Kenny, that's coming, man. Pretty soon we're going to start doing this and putting your smiling face on there side by each with me on the video side as well.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I mean, I got some pretty cool backgrounds.
Nice.
In my house, I got some nice backgrounds in my house, and if you let my mom tell it, she raised a handsome son, so it would be nice to show my face. But appreciate you having me on, and I look forward to it next week.
All right, man. Thank you, Kennington, Lloyd Smith. All right, we'll get a break in here. We'll come back, set you up for hour number 2 next. We're at Baumhowers. They're about ready. Oh, they put the chairs down. We're about ready to open the doors right here on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
College football playoff semifinal coming up on Thursday at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The Fiesta Bowl, Miami laying 3.5 against Ole Miss. In the Peach Bowl on Friday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Indiana bet down from a 4-point to a 3.5-point favorite over Oregon, 46.5. The total. College basketball tonight, Auburn Tigers hosting Texas A&M as a 6.5-point favorite at Neville Arena, 167.5 the total. Elsewhere in the SEC, Florida Gators laying 9.5 at home with Georgia, while the Tennessee Volunteers are a 10.5-point home favorite against the Texas Longhorns in Knoxville. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The college football playoff semifinals on ESPN Radio. Thursday in the Verbo Fiesta Bowl.
From 47 yards, he got
it. Ole Miss faces Miami.
And it's intercepted. It's going to be a Miami pick six.
Then on Friday in the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl. It's Indiana, Oregon. The college football playoff semifinals, 7 Eastern. Thursday and Friday on ESPN Radio and on ESPN.
Since 1983, Berkshire Hathaway Rise Real Estate's Ann Adams has been your local go-to real estate expert in the area. As a buyer, you can trust Ann's in-depth knowledge of the local housing market to narrow available properties down to those you'll be interested in, saving you time when shopping for a new home. When you're ready to sell, Ann's expert negotiation skills will ensure you get a fair price and hassle-free experience. Call Ann Adams today at 256-337-2625 or email annadamsrise@gmail.com.
Hey, this is Chad Watts from Firefly Marine. I want to tell you about the largest fishing expo in state history in Coleman on January 16th through the 18th. Shop hundreds of vendors and stop by our booth to check out our new Torchlight products. For more information about this expo, go to ultimatefishingexpo.com. The largest fishing expo in state history in Coleman on January 16th through the 18th.
Eagle Masonry and Installation. It's right there in the name. Eagle is your one-stop shop for block, stone, or brickwork, monument signs, and outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. Eagle also offers the finest craftsmanship and insulation, including fiberglass or spray foam insulation, and of course, insulation removal. Philip Love and his team have years of experience, bringing the region the best in masonry and insulation services. For more information and a quote, visit insulatewitheagle.com or call 256-755-1556. Eagle saves you time. Eagle saves you money.
Injured in a car accident? Get the help you need. I'm Morris Lilienthal, a personal injury lawyer right here in Huntsville. I've personally helped over 4,000 clients with their injury claims. My firm, Martinson & Beeson, has been helping clients for over 80 years, and we have received over 300 five-star Google reviews. We know that injuries and accidents can be life-changing, and I'm here to help you navigate the entire process. Get in touch with me right now by visiting morristheattorney.com. There's no charge for our meeting. Again, that's morristheattorney.com. I look forward to helping you.
No representation is made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by the lawyer.
Your Fox 54 weather.
I'm Chief Meteorologist Jordan Dressman. A mostly cloudy sky this afternoon, but it is going to be quite warm. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s. There's a small chance for an isolated rain shower across the Tennessee Valley. Most of us are going to be just fine. Dropping into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head into the overnight. A partly sunny sky for your Wednesday. Temperatures climbing into the mid and upper 60s.
Your Fox 54 weather, only on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by Ross Roberts and his team at Valley Equipment Rental, and they have a brand new product for you. If you happen to be standing on a concrete or tile floor, Valley Equipment has the exact machine for you. Now, whether it's new construction or daily work environments or an area that's been neglected for far too long, the Valley Equipment team of experienced professionals can help you get the right floor scrubber or sweeper for your needs. Call Valley Equipment and ask them for more details on how they can help you out today. Welcome back, Tom Abraham Show. So, John, you heard what KLS said there. He's got cool backgrounds and things like that. Sounds like he's technically savvy. I think we need to. You've got his phone number there. I think you need to text him and get a email address for him, and let's get him scheduled to be a video guest going forward.
We'll set it up. It'll look nice. It's been really fun doing the Talking Balls video, and yours is just growing. We need some of the topics. I'll say that. We need some of that pre-planned topics already thrown our way. I'm just going to say that on air. I
thought I gave you some stuff yesterday.
Please don't email me. Don't be emailing me. Just send me a text. We'll be able to send it and get it in on the system. So,
well, here's a topic coming up in hour number 2. We are going to talk coaching candidates with Teresa Walker. So I would maybe get some like Kevin Stefanski headshots because he's in the mix there, as well as some other teams that are looking at him, and we'll get into some Cam Ward injury stuff. I know you've got something bopping around there, so we'll get that done. She'll join us next, right here from Baumhowers. It's the Tom Abraham Show.
The state's largest orthopedic group is growing to meet the needs of the patients in our community. The Orthopedic Center has long been the most trusted name in orthopedics in North Alabama. So as our area continues on the fast track, so does the need for premier orthopedic care anywhere and anytime you need it. TOC is proud to announce the opening of our new locations in Albertville and Hampton Cove, along with the grand opening of our newest office in Decatur. These clinics will offer the same high-quality orthopedic care you have come to associate with TOC, with the convenience of being closer to home. As a patient, your time is your most precious asset, and we recognize that at TOC. That's why we are also proud to announce the opening of our urgent ortho clinics to handle those bumps and bruises that need prompt attention. These clinics are available to care for acute orthopedic injuries with no appointment necessary. With 38 physicians, 20 centers of excellence, and now more than a dozen locations to serve you, TOC will continue to be the name you turn to for the best orthopedic care at the right time. Visit our website at visittoc.com for more information. TOC, helping you live a better life.
Need tough equipment you can count on? Christopher Equipment has you covered. Whether it's air compressors, trenchers, bucket lifts, concrete tools, generators, skid steers, and more. Serving you with locations in Tullahoma, Shelbyville, Manchester, Fayetteville, and Hazel Green. Christopher Equipment. From job site to backyard, rent or buy, Christopher Equipment delivers the tools you need when you need them. Call 931-455-3900 or visit Christopher.equipment today. Christopher Equipment, powering your project.
Isn't the story of the prodigal son an amazing story? Basically, a rowdy boy who literally wished his father dead, ran away, and consumed his wealth with hard and fast living. Yet the father looked for his return every day, and when the boy got tired of eating pig slop, he decided to return. What did the father do? As soon as he saw that boy, he ran to him, threw his arms around him, and killed the fatted calf for a great celebration. Hey, I'm John Dees, pastor of the Cross Point Church. If you're looking for a church home, come see us, smack dab across the street from the YMCA in Madison.
There's power in caring when it is put into action. Each year, our bankers serve on nonprofit boards, support our local educators, and volunteer with our hometown food bank. I'm Bobby Humphrey, Vice President of Business Development for Bryan Bank, and community service is just not a line item in our mission statement. It's who we are. Because after all, Alabama is our home too. That kind of commitment to community might not be what you would expect from a bank, but it's exactly what you can expect from us. Give us a call or stop by one of our 2 offices in the Huntsville area and experience unbeatable service and legendary results.
Bryan Bank Equal Housing Lender, NMLS ID 2428944.
833, member FDIC.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. Flickering lights and hot switches can be annoying, but they can also signal a major problem, or worse, an electrical emergency. So play it safe and leave it to the experts at Mr. Sparky. Trust our team of professional, clean, and friendly electricians. We'll get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated. Licensed and respected.
WZZN, Union Grove, Huntsville, Alabama. 97.7 ESPN, The Zone.
Scott Tyson here with the 97.7 ESPN The Zone Sports Minute. Tuesday night SEC basketball. Auburn welcomes Texas A&M to Neville Arena. The Tigers looking to rebound from Saturday's overtime loss on the road to number 18 Georgia. Tip-off set for 8 p.m. Tigers an 8.5-point favorite. College football news. Alabama showdown with Indiana in the Rose Bowl was the most watched college football playoff game of the 12-team era as 23.9 million watched the New Year's Day game. Alabama has landed a commitment from NC State running back Hollywood Smothers. Smothers rushed for over 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns for the Wolfpack in 2025. Former Auburn wide receiver Perry Thompson is committed to Minnesota. Thompson will have 2 years of eligibility remaining for the Golden Gophers. Former Auburn quarterback Ashton Daniels is expected to transfer to Florida State for his final season. Make sure and download the 97.7 ESPN The Zone app today.
This segment of the Thom Abraham Show is brought to you by the award-winning service department at Woody Anderson Ford. That's right. They take care of the routine checkups. They keep your Ford or other brand in perfect working order. But if you have a bigger problem, they got these expert service technicians that can diagnose it, use state-of-the-art tools to get it resolved. I take my vehicles there. I've been doing it, for nearly 20 years now. It's Woody Anderson Ford and Service Department. Second to none. Check out Woody Anderson Ford today.
You need to be more like a dog.
Like what you guys are doing. You've got your fingertip on the pulse of your listeners. You guys know what they're talking about.
Be a dog.
God bless the show. You are the Messiah.
We need more dogs.
This is the best show on radio.
The big dog, Thom Abraham, is here with you.
Hey, I see you, dog.
So settle in and get your bark on. Now live, here he is, the big dog, Thom Abraham.
How you doing? Look, I don't speak Spanish.
I don't know how to say this, so I'm going to choose my words very carefully. I think you're a psycho.
Do you know who I am?
I mean, that guy sounds like Dale McPherson farting into Miles Davis' trumpet.
I guess I'm on here. Am I on? Can somebody respond? Get off my lawn.
I have to drag my Yankee ass out of here.
It is a Top 10 Tuesday in the Doghouse. I am Thom Abraham. We welcome in a new audience listening on National Sports Radio in Nashville and Murfreesboro to go along with our friends on 97.7 ESPN in Huntsville and WCDT in Winchester, Tennessee. Your phone lines are open. You can jump on in. 256-576-4977. That gets you in. It's 256-576-4977. That number is good wherever you listen and however you consume the show. We got a text window for you as well. We're reading react to those on the air. 7329-TA-SHOW, 732-982-7469. You can watch the show as well on WZZN TV on YouTube or on the Facebook and in the X. You can get it at my X feed, which is at Thom Abraham Show. You can find it right there as well. It's been a little bit wonky, as it always is when we're away from the studio, and that's where we are at right now. We are at Baumhowers and Victory Grill on the South Memorial Parkway in Huntsville. The doors have opened and people are flooding in as we speak. So they're heading on in here because it's a great place to have lunch and watch what's going on one of the 80 TVs that are floating around this joint as well. And don't forget, Baumhowers has your party-ready trays if you're planning a party for the Fiesta Bowl or the Peach Bowl Thursday or Friday night or this weekend for the playoffs. Baumhowers has you covered with the delicious, legendary party-ready tray selections, from the always fresh buttermilk fried chicken tenders to the homemade Nana's chicken salad, and, of course, the award-winning buffalo chicken wings. You can view all of the catering options at Baumhowers.com. And one of the topics, we'll be having our weekly staff meeting, as John knows, immediately after the show. And, John, were you with us before when I was in this time slot and the staff meeting was at lunchtime every week?
I think I was maybe here for like a second, and then it
I
all
moved,
switched.
right?
Yeah, it all switched.
So we need to think about. That's one of the things we're going to have to think about is whether or not we're going to get maybe the staff meeting needs to be a lunch meeting. You know what I mean? We get the staff meeting catered.
Bring some Baumhowers. Come on now.
I know. I was thinking about that. I wonder if I could get like a tray of Baumhowers wings or not wings, but boneless wings or something like that to take out of here. I might do that. I may show up with some of those. So we'll see how that works. The only problem is that we did that in the past, and we used to have lunch with the meeting, and nobody paid attention. Of course, nobody pays attention now anyway, but hopefully they'll be paying attention. And I don't know that if we put the feed bag on during a staff meeting, whether or not anybody would pay attention or whether they would just stuff their face.
I don't think anybody pays attention anyway.
Well, they need to. They really need to. Because, I always say, we got another one that looks just like you. Would love to have the job. So,
this is the truth.
It wouldn't take much to make that kind of a move. Speaking of the text window, great text. We were talking about Ty Simpson and whether or not he is a first round grade on him and whether he's probably QB3 right now in this upcoming draft as he tries to decide whether or not he wants to stay or go and return to Alabama, where he may or may not be the starting quarterback next year. It would be one heck of a competition. I really believe that to be a fact. However, I think it was Bama Brad. Remember, when you hit the text window to sign your text, I don't have all your phone numbers saved, so I don't know who the heck it is that is sending me these texts, but I think it was Bama Brad that said that Ty Simpson would be a great NFL quarterback behind a good offensive line. And so, you know what? That's true. That's absolutely true. I do believe that. And what I could see happening with Ty Simpson, John, I could see that kid getting drafted like late in the first round by a better team. The Steelers, who have aging Aaron Rodgers, who may or may not be back, or maybe the Rams, who have Matt Stafford, and they draft him in the 27th or 28th pick of the first round, and then the next thing you know, he sits on the bench for a year or two, and 3 years from now, he's a superstar quarterback.
Yeah.
Playing with a good team. Sometimes getting drafted by the Jets or the Raiders is not the best thing in the world. You might rather be drafted down near, the bottom of the first round by a good team.
I don't know. I wouldn't give him any hope that he would get in the first round and get drafted in the first round just because, I see him more as like a 4th or 5th round if he tries to leave this season.
Oh, no. He's no more than a second round. He will not last. Look, John, people need quarterbacks.
I get that.
They need quarterbacks.
But you got to also remember, a team you threw out there right out the gates, the Steelers, they got a decent quarterback in Will Howard. And I think that is a better version of what we saw from Ty Simpson.
I just threw a name out there. I don't know if it's the Steelers or whoever. I'm just saying some team with an aging quarterback will take him late in the first because people overdraft quarterbacks. But he does not last to the end of the second round. I tell you that. I don't believe that in a million years that he would last through the end of the second round because he's there. Who are you going to take in front of him? He's QB3 in this draft.
Yeah. He definitely has the abilities to be a quarterback in the NFL. I think that he's got the height, he's got the arm, and on top of that,
taking Carson Beck before you take him.
Maybe with the way that Carson Beck has shown, there's a few things that lead me to believe that Carson Beck would be a better quarterback in this day and age. We're talking about the day and age where we need mobile guys, and at the end of the day,
no, Beck's not very mobile.
Ty Simpson is less mobile, and on top of that, his pocket presence right now is a little shaky. So
he's a little shaky in the pocket, but he's shell shocked, I think. But remember, Ty Simpson came out as a dual threat quarterback. He was the number one dual threat quarterback coming out of high school.
Yeah.
Ty Simpson is a dude that moves. Okay, he's got more mobility certainly than Carson Beck.
Yeah. If you do give him a little bit more time though in the pocket, I think that his accuracy is definitely up there with the best of the picks that you could get. But I just, with the way that season ended, I just feel like the scouts have probably seen something that they just don't like. And yes, there is still the good intangibles from it, but still thinking that he would be a 1st or 2nd round pick is kind of crazy to me.
Well, if he's QB3, I mean, he doesn't have a first-round grade on him right now. He has a second-round grade on him. So I think that's, and I think that's accurate, although people overdraft. And if you were the Los Angeles Rams, all right, and you had Matt Stafford and you're only going to have him for another year, what if you're the Detroit Lions? How much does Jared Goff have left in the tank, right? I mean, that's a team that's got an excellent offensive line. If you're the Detroit Lions, all right, and you're looking at Jared Goff, I think you've topped out what you're going to get out of Jared Goff. Maybe another year or so of Jared Goff. Maybe you grab a guy like Ty Simpson to sit for a year behind Jared Goff, and he's your quarterback in 2027. I mean, that could happen. Now, do we have the audio of Brendan Sorby in the comments of Kyle Whittingham about Brendan Sorby getting $5 million allegedly from Texas Tech? Do you have that video or audio, John?
No, I don't.
We don't have that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I was trying to send it to you. I thought maybe you were on that video. Steve Moulton grabbed it for us, and I thought he put everybody on it. Maybe he didn't. Maybe he did. Maybe you didn't see it. I'm not sure. But Brendan Sorsby, the quarterback from Cincinnati, allegedly has gotten $5 million from Texas Tech. And the thing is, the details of that, is it $5 million out of the $22 million rev share? Or is it $5 million NIL? And if it's $5 million NIL, what is he doing for it? All right, because if it's NIL, it's got to go through the committee now to make sure that it's a legit NIL deal. So I think that's that's something that you have to wonder about for sure. We got Teresa Walker coming up here in just a few minutes. It looks like Cam Ward's injury is not too bad, and he says that his offseason program will not be affected. So Cam Ward should be good to go to interview potential head coaches for the Titans. Remember, said he wanted to be in on all the interviews of all of the head coaches. And look, the Giants, the Falcons, and the Titans are said to be interviewing Kevin Stefanski. Tell me Kevin Stefanski's bringing Jim Schwartz back to Nashville with him, and then you're going to get a little excited. You got to get a little excited if that were if that was the possibility. But if you're Kevin Stefanski, you might look at the Atlanta job and say that team is more ready to win than are the Titans right now. You got Michael Penix. Michael Penix has shown more than Cam Ward. Penix isn't great, but he's shown more than Cam Ward. So you look at that gig, and maybe that makes some sense. And then of course there's the information that they're going to interview Raheem Morris. I mean, come on, we're not hiring Raheem Morris to be a head coach right now, are we? I mean, this feels like a Rooney Rule interview. You got to interview a couple of minorities. This feels like a Rooney Rule one. I'm just going to say it the way it is, because on merit, what has Raheem Morris done to merit an interview? And you need an offensive coach. I believe it has to be an offensive coach with the Titans. So we'll get into all of that with her as well. I got a great stat. For those of you that want to say that Myles Garrett had an extra game to break Michael Strahan and TJ Watt's sack record, because there's been some of that noise out there. Hey, he had extra game. He played 17 games. Those guys did it in a 16-game season. I just want to throw this out at you, okay? Myles Garrett got his 23 sacks in 437 snaps. TJ Watt had 616 plays when he got his 22.5 sacks, and Michael Strahan had 567 snaps to get his 22.5 sacks. Myles Garrett did it 437 snaps. Now, on the one hand, you say, why is he only playing 437 snaps? And he does he's in and out. And you might say, well, he was more rested. Those other guys were playing all 3 downs and so on, and maybe Myles Garrett's more rested. On the other hand, he did it in 150 less snaps. That's a lot of plays, man. How many sacks does he get if he had 616 snaps like TJ Watt did? So I just throw that out there. And he did it on a team that was always behind. If you're on like the Steelers that year, Steelers are leading a lot of games, and the other team has to pass a lot to catch up, right? If you're the Browns and you're constantly trailing in games, the other team's running the ball all the time, trying to run the clock out. I think what he did is just absolutely amazing what he was ultimately able to do. All right, Let's get Vinny in here. Vinny, welcome to the show. How are you?
Hey, Tom, you doing okay?
I am fantastic.
Yes, you are. Hey, I want to hit on a couple things. But first of all, I won the VIP package from you folks for the Music City Bowl.
Yes, you did.
What a great time. From the minute we pulled into the parking lot to the minute the game was over and we were out of there faster than you can shake a stick at, it was just a wonderful, wonderful time. It was a little chilly.
Yeah, I couldn't do anything about that. I could help you with everything else. I couldn't do anything about the chili. So your name was on the parking bit. Did you feel like a VIP when you pulled in to parking lot 8 or G or whatever it was, and you gave them your name and you said, hey, I'm my cousin Vinny from the Thom Abraham Show, and they found you right there on the list, on the VIP list. Did that make you feel special?
Well, I felt special the minute I pulled down the special street there, and the cops asked me where I was going. I said, parking lot G. He said, help yourself, be careful.
Yeah.
And I pulled in, and my name was on the list. I said, where would you like me to park? They said, right there is the closest spot you're going to get. Oh, yeah, I was a VIP all the way. And then we get into the tailgate.
So you went to the tailgate party. So then you got to the tailgate. Tell people about. First of all, how much did you save on the parking? Did you see any signs? Was it $40, $50 for parking around the, around the Nissan Stadium?
Yeah, that close. It was $50.
$50. So you save $50 there. So then you go to the tailgate party that was part of the VIP package. Tell us about the tailgate party.
Well, they had a band playing on the big stage right out front of Nissan Stadium. I took some pictures. I'll send them to you.
Yeah.
And then they had a big tent with 2 buffets set in it.
There he is. Yeah.
The food was top shelf. You had ribs and all the fixings, and you had complimentary hot cocoa and all that. And you end up sitting with a bunch of folks, some Indiana folks and some Tennessee folks, all getting along, cutting up and all that. It was just, and the food was top shelf.
Yeah.
And I just kind of went and I said, with my plate, I said, am I allowed to eat this? They go, if you're in here, you're allowed to do whatever you want within reason.
That's right.
So,
I mean, we got you in there. You're VIP. So then you're in the club level seats, so that you could at least go back into the club and get warm every once in a while, right?
Oh yeah, it was 20 feet.
Yeah.
We went up the stairs 20 feet, and you're warm, and there's TVs everywhere.
Yeah.
In fact, during the kick, the return kick that Tennessee had, my son had to go to the bathroom, and he hears a bunch of screaming, sees it on TV, and comes back and says, "Did I miss something?" Anyway, the point I wanted to make is we sat with Illinois folks mixed in with Tennessee folks. There was a shouting match between the Tennessee guy and some folks from Illinois, and they were yelling back and forth, and the Tennessee guy says to the Illinois guy, says, "It looks like you could use a drink." And they started hacking, cutting, and they ended up being friends for us.
Yeah.
Don't tell me. I've got a whole new appreciation, Tom. Don't tell me that bowl games don't matter to the 55,000 people that were there, the players and the coaches, because they left it on the field, and the fans did too. So it was just a really, really, really good time.
Yeah, the guys who opted in 100%. That's great stuff, Vinny. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. That is really good stuff. All right, got to get a break in here. Philip, if you can hang in there, hang in there. We got Teresa Walker standing by, though, and she's going to join us next from the AP in Nashville. We'll talk to T-Dub right after this on the Thom Abraham Show.
You're listening to the Thom Abraham Show on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This is Brent Musburger's VSiN Action Update on 97.7 ESPN The Zone. Drivers who switch to Progressive have an annual savings of nearly $750. Progressive.com.
College football playoff semifinal coming up on Thursday at State Farm Stadium in Glendale, Arizona. The Fiesta Bowl, Miami laying 3.5 against Ole Miss. In the Peach Bowl on Friday at Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, Indiana bet down from a 4-point to a 3.5-point favorite over Oregon, 46.5. the total. College basketball tonight, Auburn Tigers hosting Texas A&M as a 6.5-point favorite at Neville Arena, 167.5 the total. Elsewhere in the SEC, Florida Gators laying 9.5 at home with Georgia, while the Tennessee Volunteers are a 10.5-point home favorite against the Texas Longhorns in Knoxville. For more, go to VSIN.com. Mike Sennett, 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
The crimson and white jerseys.
Front court to the rack and the plunge.
The sound of a buzzer beater.
Got it to go as the buzzer sounds.
The Roll Tide chant from the crowd. It can only be Alabama basketball. Join the Alabama Crimson Tide right here on your home for Alabama basketball.
Listen to Alabama basketball all season long on 97.7 ESPN The Zone.
You invest in your customers with your heart, soul, and skill. Well, it's time to invest in yourself with the next generation Cat 255 compact track loaders from Thompson Tractor. After all, those who give their best deserve the best. And this machine has it all, with features that include a more powerful engine, tri-axle truck loading capabilities, a spacious cab, and a smooth ride for all-day comfort. Thompson Tractor knows how much value you place on your customer satisfaction. It's how you build your business. It's also how we build ours. Since 1957, hardworking folks like you have counted on Thompson to provide the absolute best lineup of equipment in the industry, all backed by a customer service and product support team that time and again have proven to be second to none. It's all about maintaining has been, always will be. Visit ThompsonTractor.com for details. Thompson Tractor, we're here for you.
When you call most roofing companies, all you'll hear is, you need a new roof. Not when you call Fleming. At Fleming Roofing and Restoration, we're focused on your needs, whether it's an easy repair or a full roof replacement. Folks around here have trusted Fleming since 1965 for all their residential and commercial roofing needs. And as the area's storm damage experts, Fleming knows all the ins and outs of the insurance claims process. Log on FlemingHSV.com to schedule your free estimate today. Fleming Roofing and Restoration. We show up.
Mark and Henry McDaniel, attorneys at law, are proud alumni of Madison Academy, and Madison Academy is proud of them. They have served our community through their practice, through volunteerism and service on national, state, and local boards. They explain the complexity of critical court rulings on local media. Their successful practice has been built on integrity. Both are veterans of MA Athletics and proud sponsors of Mustang football. McDaniel and McDaniel, attorneys at law. No representation is made that the quality of the legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
You've got to experience Toyotathon at Bill Penny Toyota. They've got the selection with over 700 new Toyotas to choose from. And they've got the extras with Bill Penny perks and a 10-year unlimited warranty. So get on over to Bill Penny Toyota today and experience Toyotathon. Bill Penny Toyota in Huntsville and online at BillPennyToyota.com. Bill Penny's Toyota 10-year unlimited warranty is valid through the 10th year of ownership. Valid on new vehicles only. See dealer for details.
Where's the best place for sports? What about the best place for wings? If you answered Jefferson's for both, you're right. Jefferson's is also a great place for value. Every Monday, kids eat free with the purchase of an adult meal, and teachers bring your teacher ID and you eat free every first Tuesday of the month up to $15. Jefferson's, best place for sports, best place for wings, in Hampton Cove and our latest location, now open in New Market on Winchester Road.
97.7 ESPN The Zone.
This segment of the Tom Abraham Show is brought to you by my friends at All About Water LLC. Well, you can learn more about them at allaboutwaterllc.com. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but look, they do everything that has anything to do with water, whether it's building a pond or refreshing your pond or a water feature on your property or drainage on your property. Whatever it is involving water, they do it. That includes irrigation, maintenance of your irrigation, installation of irrigation. All About Water, LLC.
All
right, welcome back. Tom Abraham Show on location, Baumhowers, Victory Grill, South Memorial Parkway in Huntsville. John, did you just get the text that I sent to the staff?
No, I didn't, but I was hoping whenever you were gone that you were getting us food.
Well, no, what I did was I walked over. Our consultant is here. One of our consultants is here. So I walked over. I saw him, talked to him for a few minutes. Then I was coming back. Coach Patterson is here, legendary coach in the Huntsville area. He and his wife are here, and he is involved with the quarterback club, the Huntsville Quarterback Club, and he was just telling me about what a great job I did speaking there the other day, which I really appreciate doing that whenever they call me in to speak to the quarterback club. And then I went ahead and ordered a tray. I've got 50 boneless wings coming, okay, that I'll be bringing back with me, okay? So don't. Yeah. So 50 boneless wings with some sauces that I'll be bringing back from Baumhowers. Now, we better pay attention. We better be able to have a meeting and pay attention. I just don't know how that'll work.
I swear we will. No worries from me.
Yeah. Right. All right. Teresa Walker always pays attention. She's with the AP in Tennessee. She's the bureau chief of the AP in Tennessee, and she joins us from Nashville now, where there's been a lot going on, that's for sure. And she's on the Neighbors Wealth Management Hotline. T-Dub, welcome in. How are you?
Tired, Tom. Very tired. You've got the NFL team cleaning out yesterday. The GM talked this morning about the coaching search that is well underway. The FCS title game was at Vanderbilt last night, and if you missed it, folks, that was a doozy of a barn burner going to overtime, first in the 48-year history of that game. And then, Vanderbilt men and women undefeated in basketball. So there you go, nothing going on.
Yeah, big game tomorrow night as Crimson Tide will be in the building, the two top-rated teams in the SEC. And so for both those teams, a referendum on who's the top dog right now in the SEC.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, Vanderbilt has had kind of a quiet schedule. Alabama has really been tested. So this is going to be the first true test of just what this Vanderbilt team is capable of. And there's a lot of folks watching how they play and thinking they could be the best in the SEC this year and possibly a Final Four team, because Mark Byington in his second season has really put together a very interesting and potent roster.
And it's a quirky place to play for visiting teams that come in, and you don't know how many kids have ever been on that floor before. But that's one of the things about playing at Vanderbilt. I always felt like it's just such a quirky place to play. It's so unique. You're you're in the end zone basically is where the two benches are and everything else. And I think it's a big advantage for Vandy.
Well, it certainly was Sunday when the Vanderbilt women beat number 5 LSU. And, it's the biggest win for that program since 2009. They're now 7th in the country, their highest ranking since 2007. So there's some memorial magic coming back to West End. And, you talk about quirky, the Vanderbilt roster for the men, everybody's listed as a guard. And everybody can handle the ball. Everybody can shoot. Trying to defend somebody, you can't hone in on one or two guys because almost everybody on the roster can hurt you.
I got to get your opinion because I trust you and I value your opinion. I've known you for over 15 years. Now that my show has moved to pre-lunch, my staff meeting that we have every Tuesday is going to be at noon during a lunch hour, and I'm bringing food to the staff to eat during the staff meeting. Am I making a mistake? Is that going to create a problem with people paying attention during the staff meeting because I'm bringing excellent food from Baumhowers to the staff meeting?
I would eat first, then talk. Although then you'll have people, because people eating, they're not going to pay attention. The only challenge is full bellies. It's, I don't know about others, but I have a hard time staying awake sometimes.
No, they stay awake because I'm a dynamic speaker at the meeting. You know what I mean? So I think that they'll stay awake. But I like your idea. Give them like 7 minutes to choke down some wings, and then boom, we get into the meeting.
Exactly, because when the food's in front of you, people are only tuning in on. I mean, it's the Homer Simpson gif. The drool's coming out. You want to eat, and just let them, get a few wings down them, and then they'll pay attention.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense for sure. All right, let's talk about the football team. First of all, from yesterday, it sounds like Cam Ward's injury is not too bad. There's no timeline, but it sounds like he'll be able to do a lot of the things that he wants to do in the offseason. Is that correct?
Absolutely. What we were told is positive feedback, and that it looks like rest and rehab will be what helps his shoulder. Sunday there were reports that it's like, oh my, that might need surgery. So yeah, he and Mike McCoy, the interim coach, made clear he hadn't talked to the training staff, but because he was busy with exit interviews, but everything sounded really good. And Cam Ward said what he needs to work on this off season is watch film, work on his footwork and his base, and strengthening those. Don't have to have the shoulder involved doing that kind of stuff. So and they don't start the off-season program until mid-April at the earliest with the new head coach. So he's got plenty of time, almost 3 full months or more than 3 full months before they even need to worry about him picking up a football. So, get that shoulder recovered, let rest, then start the rehab. But, yes, he sounded pretty happy, and so did Mike McCoy. And Mike Bergonzi said today that, when they hire a new coach, they want somebody who can, work with Cam Ward, who can get the most out of him. So, everything is going to be centered around Cam Ward and giving him a chance to jump into his second NFL season.
Yeah, well, so he should be healthy enough to conduct. Cam Ward will be able to conduct the head coach interviews that he wants, because I know he wants to be the one that hires the coach, and he wants to do the interviews, and he wants to make sure that he talks to each one of these guys. So I suppose that he'll be in pretty good shape for that. I'll tell you a guy that he needs to talk to, and I'm just going to say this, and I know some people might poo-poo it, but Kevin Stefanski. I mean, on 2 levels. One, Kevin Stefanski. I mean, he still is a quarterback whisperer. He had 15 different starting quarterbacks in Cleveland in the 6 years he was there. They screwed that guy over big time. He has a history of doing some special things with quarterbacks. And then the other part of that is, would Kevin Stefanski potentially bring Jim Schwartz back to Nashville with him, where Schwartz has run one of the top defenses in the NFL over the last 3 years? I mean, that would make it even more attractive. What are you hearing about whether Stefanski could be in the mix there in Nashville?
Well, he's a 2-time NFL Coach of the Year, so he should be. He is reportedly interviewing on Saturday. Now, Jim Haslam in Cleveland has said that they want to keep Jim Schwartz. Makes you wonder: are they going to look at him at head coach? It could be very interesting to see. That said, I did ask Mike Bergonzi about Cam Ward saying he had talked and wanted to be involved, and Mike kind of chuckled and says, yeah, sometimes Cam likes to talk a bit. When they winnow things down and they do the in-person interviews, Cam Ward might get in a quick hello to say hi. The whole focus is Cam Ward's not going to be in the interview process, okay? He's going to be but they know what they've got in this rookie quarterback going in. They want to build around this young base, and Cam Ward is at the front of that. So they're going to want a coach who can absolutely help this young man blossom into all that he can be as their franchise quarterback. So he's at the center of things. He's just not going to be in the interview process.
Well, the flip side of it is, in all seriousness, if I'm a head coach that's considering taking the job, if they're getting ready, if they're offering me, I would want to then talk to Cam Ward. I mean, that's a different dynamic. But if I were a coach and that said, before I took the job, I'd want to have an opportunity to talk to that young man, because my future is going to be tied to that kid. So I think that, but that's a different dynamic than him being involved in the interviews. Teresa Walker with us here. We heard that Raheem Morris is getting an interview as well. And, no disrespect, but this feels like a Rooney Rule deal, to me, because there's nothing Raheem Morris has shown us that would indicate, I mean, he's a nice defensive coordinator. There's nothing that he has shown us that he's really head coach material. And I don't think that one would fly well, if Raheem Morris was, the ultimate target.
Well, and there's another factor. Sometimes in these interviews, you help identify coordinator candidates. When Mike Vrabel was interviewed, they only interviewed 3 people. And one of the other guys, Matt LaFleur, ended up being his offensive coordinator. So, that sometimes it may be a means to an end. Yes, there's, meeting the Rooney Rule, but there's also, trying to see, is this a guy who could maybe be on this staff as a defensive coordinator? Now, Denard Wilson, the current defensive coordinator, has said, he'd like to, be considered for the head coaching job. Still waiting to see. There was a report this morning that Mike McCoy, who also wanted to be considered, was being interviewed for the head coaching job, which, as somebody put, interesting to call an exit interview a head coaching job interview. So it's one of those things where it might be, killing two birds with one stone for the Titans. And, and a way to say thank you to Mike McCoy for stepping in and doing the job that he did, holding this franchise together over the final 11 weeks.
Yeah, I would say Mike McCoy just had an 11-week interview, so I think his interview is pretty much done, I would think. But yes, he deserves a respect. He is a guy that is respected throughout the NFL for sure. But I don't believe that on any planet that Mike McCoy is the one that is going to get that job. What are some of the other names that are interesting out there for this? Because you got to look at the other jobs that are open as well. I mentioned Stefanski, and Jeff Diamond, by the way, has said for 4 weeks that if the Browns make the mistake of letting Kevin Stefanski go, if Kevin Stefanski is available, Jeff Diamond, former president of the Titans, said he would be my first choice to be the head coach of the Titans, that he would be a perfect fit there. But you look at other jobs that open up, and many would say, including Dan Orlovsky, who said Kevin Stefanski goes to Atlanta. They're an 11-win team next year, and they win that division because Atlanta has more parts and more dynamic offensive pieces in place. They've gotten better on defense. They don't have a first-round draft pick this year. But so you got to kind of look at the other jobs that are available as well. But what are some of the other names that float around in your head or in the media room there?
Well, there's a list that's almost as long as the state of Tennessee from east to west on who could be the candidate, or the options here. The shortest list that people are wanting to draw are, Mike Borgonzi is the GM making his first coaching hire. And there's Matt Nagy, who is a former head coach. There's Steve Spagnuolo at the Chiefs, defense coordinator, another former head coach. Those Mike McCarthy has been bubbling ever since they fired Brian Callahan. Yeah. And then there's a handful of guys that are, former, or current coordinators. I mean, Cliff Kingsbury, parting ways today with the Washington Commanders. He jumps onto the list as somebody that, people would like to see him interview. So the one thing that Mike Borgonzi told us is that he's not going to tell us, how many candidates he's looking at. They've been, the one advantage of having been the first NFL team to fire a coach is they've had plenty of time to do their, quote, due diligence, talking to people and, people who may have played for coaches to get a feel. The one thing, there's no timeline for this hire. And, the idea is get it right. Of course, at a certain point when you're competing against 5 other NFL teams, your hand might get pushed if you know who you really, really want.
Yeah, you don't want to be last. We've seen that before with the Titans, that they drag and drag. Don't be last. Be near the top of that. I know there's no timeline, but there should be a little bit of a timeline, to make sure you get the best guy. Yeah.
Oh, hey, Tom, back in 2011 when, Bud Adams and Jeff Fisher parted ways late in February, they didn't hire and announce Mike Munchak until February 7th, 2011. That is too late. Why? You have to fill out your coaching staff. Yeah. And the coordinators and other assistants that you'd like to have might not be available by then and under contract. In the NFL, you don't break contracts unless an owner wants to break a contract and pay you to leave. So that's the timeline that comes in. Who do you want that somebody else might be wanting? If it's Stefanski, yeah, you're going to have competition. He's being mentioned as the Giants, the Falcons. So, you are in a competition here. So it is going to be interesting to see how quickly they end up moving on this.
Yeah, I agree with that. The Cliff Kingsbury story is interesting because they're not using the word fired or saying parted ways.
Yeah, that's the euphemism.
Yeah, well, but it said they fired their defensive coordinator. They fired the defensive coordinator and parted ways with the offensive coordinator. But that's really unfair. I mean, this was a dynamic offense. They lost their quarterback. He had 4 or 5 games as all Jaden Daniels played. And he was playing with his, one hand tied behind his back without his main offensive parts. They had some other parts that they lost, for Cliff Kingsbury. And I'm not a huge Cliff Kingsbury as a head coach type of guy, but it's amazing. I mean, last year he was like the assistant of the year in the NFL, and this year he's looking for a job. I mean, it's kind of nuts the way this works.
That's how quickly it flips. Just ask Pete Carroll, who was out one and done in Las Vegas, baby.
You could see that coming, though. I mean, Pete's 74 years old. I mean, they took a shot that would be some Dick Vermeil in Kansas City type thing, where he would like do something and they would, they would have a quick turnaround. But once it looked like this is going to be a major rebuild, they're like, Pete won't be around long enough to rebuild that thing. So I think that's what happened there. Teresa Walker with us here. All right, just a note. I mentioned it. Some people are confused why the Titans are picking 4 when they tied for the worst record in the NFL. But the way they break those ties is of the 4 teams that finished with a 3-14 record, the Raiders, the Jets, and the Cardinals are the others. The Titans actually played the toughest schedule. So because they played the hardest schedule, they really earned their 3-14 with the hardest schedule. They ended up picking 4. They're not in quarterback business, it appears, based on what we're hearing here, obviously. So that means it's time to get some kind of dynamic playmaker. Now, that could be a defensive end. That could be an edge guy if it's the top guy on the board. But, man, you keep talking about building around Cam Ward. You got to get him some dynamic playmaker on the edge. And you would think that if they have an opportunity to get the number 1 wide receiver in the draft, that's what they might need to do.
Not yet. That's a good idea, but guess what? I am coming around to the idea how many times we see rookie receivers really come in and blow away the league in their first year. Remember, this team has the most cap space in the NFL. They've got lots of money to spend. They need to
you go buy one
both ways.
Yeah.
Buy one. If you can go outbid Indianapolis to get Alec Pierce or something like that, and they have enough whole time. They've got to fill them in both spots, draft and free agents.
All right, so Teresa Walker on it. By the way, before I let you go, I don't know what the exact number is, but it sure does seem like that the Nashville Predators, ever since Nick Saban became part of the ownership group, are playing some pretty good hockey. I guess they started playing good right before that. But, man, what a turnaround for the Preds from a basement dweller to a playoff contender, and things are getting a little bit exciting down at the Stone.
Oh, yeah, I'll say this. I might credit Steven Stamkos finally figuring out how to score on the ice with the Predators as opposed to the Nick Saban effect and impact on this franchise. I am still waiting to see because as close as they are to the second wild card spot, they're not that far away from the bottom spot in the NHL. So, it's like, let's keep it up. Keep it up. Get to the end. Get to the Olympic break and show me where you're at. Then I might buy in.
Well, that's the nature of the 2-1 point system in the NHL. I mean, it's ridiculous. They just keep it all bunched up. I mean, I guess for excitement, that's a big thing. I would be a fan of them going to a 3-1 point system where, you get 3 points for a regulation win type thing or 3 points for any win and create a little bit of separation. But that's the beauty of the deal. You have a bad week, you can be at the bottom of the heap. You have a good week, you can be a playoff team.
I'll say this, Tom. I would like to see the NHL go back to the old playoff system where they reseed after each round and it's just 1 through 8, let them play and go from there.
Yeah, well, the bracket, I think that's the thing. They get a lot of activity on the bracket. So I think, the NFL is the only one left now. That's the only league. The college football doesn't reseed and the NBA and the NHL don't reseed. The NFL will reseed and where the highest seed will play the lowest seed remaining. So we don't get a real pure bracket, if you will, with that. Teresa Walker's been our guest. T-Dub, we appreciate you. Appreciate all the work that you're doing there. Things are very busy there, but appreciate you as always.
Thank you, Tom. And, man, now I'm hungry. I'm going to go get some lunch.
Yeah, there you go. Go have lunch. I'd invite you to our meeting, but you're a little bit too far away. So thanks.
Thanks, Tom.
Teresa Walker. All right, we're going to get a break in here. When we come back, if Philip is still there, he is up. Brandon is up as well. You want to jump in, you can do it, 256-5764-97.7. This place filled up fast here at Baumhowers. They opened the door, and it was slammed almost immediately here at Baumhowers, and you could do the same. Come on down and hang out. Come over and see me. I do have some T-shirts left, some of the 5-point T-shirts from Owen Home Appliance as well for the Owen Home Appliance Friday Trifecta. So I got some bonus T-shirts left if you come on by and see me. We'll come back with more right after this on the Thom Abraham Show.